Hi and welcome back to Kingsclear Model Railway. So I don't do many of these product reviews. I do a few occasionally, but the new acquisition just before Christmas, the Accurascale Pannier, arrived in the door a couple of days ago, and I've been really impressed. It just looks really good. So I thought I'd give it a bit of a box review and give you my opinion of this loco, and I hope you enjoy it. If we start with the packaging, this loco is in the standard Accurascale packaging, very robust, good size, and when we look inside you'll see there's plenty of cushioning, but this is very robust, and I've never had an issue whatsoever with anything that's come from Accurascale in regards of damage. So just staying with the packaging, as you can see you get a thick top protective foam layer. You also get quite a large diameter, or thickness I should say, of packing all around, and then the loco itself, as you can see there, is very well contained within a big air gap which is supported by that plastic. In regards of the other bits and pieces you get in the box, you've got obviously all of the various information for the sound fitted loco, which this one is. So it gives you all of your addresses for your various noises, etc. There's a bit of information in regards of maintenance of the vehicle, and that actually includes, when you open it up, a breakdown of all the components. So I think that's pretty standard these days, but I think, to be honest with you, it's just that next level over and above what the others are doing. And then you have a nice little booklet which goes through a lot of the history of this particular loco, and again very similar excuse me, to the other Accurascale locos and carriages that you get. So all in all, I've got no issues with any of this, and as I say, never had any real damage. There's a couple of bits that have fallen off in transit, but no damage, and I think that was pretty much a self-contained issue to the Class 50s. With the loco now out of its protective packaging, just going to show you all of the little bits and pieces that you get with this loco. So we've got a pair of tweezers here. These actually come with the loco, funny enough. They serve a dual purpose. The main purpose, which I'll show you in a minute, which is in regards of the DCC chip arrangement, but obviously you can use these for assisting you with the mounting of the vac pipes, the standard couplings, a couple of GWR lamps, and you also get some finely etched, and I presume they're brass, number plates there, which is quite standard on most manufacturers today. Now this particular loco, 9681, spent the majority of its life down in South Wales, and although it could have been used up in the on the Kingsclear fictional area, what I've tried to do is I've tried to have locos on this layout that would have been in the area, if you know what I mean. So things like the Oxford or Banbury or Basingstoke or Reading or even Southall sheds. Couldn't really find a suitable number which was on those ones. However, 9659 was allocated to Old Oak Common through the majority of its life, and especially during the time that I'm doing here at Kingsclear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some the number plates from Fox's for 9659, and I'll attach those once those arrive. Now I've also been trawling through the internet, and I found a picture which I'll show you now, and that in effect gives you a bit of an indication of the type of level of grime and weathering that I'm going to apply on this loco. Now the issue is I haven't found any colour photographs of that period at the moment, still looking, but that photo, or this photo I should say, does give a bit of a good indication of the level of grime that's going to go on to this particular loco. Turning our attention now to the loco itself, and as you can see straight away, there is an awful lot of detail which has been considered and applied to this loco, especially if you can see underneath the actual boiler and tanks themselves. You can see a lot of the areas depicted in red there of obviously the valve gear and some of the underframe gear, which is basically not on the old Bachmann locos, which is not too much of a surprise, bearing in mind there are a lot older versions of this loco. But in general, the colour black, it looks a bit right, a bit shiny, but obviously once I weather it, it will look a lot better. The actual lettering and the insignia has been picked out rather well. As you know, here at Kingsclear Model Railways, we're not rivet counters, so I'm not going to get the micrometer out to measure the thickness of the con rod or anything along those lines. Just it looks right, and I'm really pleased with it. Just if I move the loco back slightly, just looking at the, sorry about that, the front end there. As I said, that the detail there is rather impressive. Obviously they've got that little drain cock there on the front by the ash door, and obviously you've got the valve pipe in there. The couplings, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with the couplings. I may just move the camera slightly, just may take off these tension locks and put on the magnetic ones, similar to the pannier that's behind it. Undecided at the moment, but I'll do a lot of that when I do the weathering. Let's have a look internally now. Okay, so we're not on the tripod now, so it's a bit wobbly, so I do apologise, but just looking at the internal details there, from the bell, all of the various different handles, even it looks like there's a water gauge which has been picked out really well there. Just moving around here, all of the parts with the brass sections and also the very copper sections and stuff like that, the regulator, various handles and stuff like that. It just looks amazing. And one thing we'll do while we're in this bit, and I know it jumps a little bit, is we'll just show you the firebox while we're here. Okay, so as you can see, that's the actual firebox glow there. I know it's struggling to focus on it, but it does look like it's actually, the glow is recessed inside it, which is actually giving you that depth perspective, which is unusual actually. I've never seen that before, so I'm really quite impressed with that. And it seems to be emitting, in fact if I turn this light off, there you go, emitting quite a nice reflective type of glow of light. Sorry about this camera work here, but I think you get the impression of what I'm trying to get out here. But yeah, really impressed with that. I think there's a bit of another clip coming up which shows a bit more of this in that video, but as I said, I don't think it's quite as good as that. But yeah, really impressed. Now viewing this loco from the opposite side, as you can see, the hooks at the back are well picked out. They appear to be, if I just move it slightly towards the camera with a bit of focus, which is not happening. They appear to be well picked out there. Rivet detail appears to be fine, but as I say, I'm not counting the rivets. And then if we have a look at the top section, which is predominantly the section that you look at, if I just turn that over, it does look really quite good. Moulded ring eyes, which it's the same as what was on the Bachmann. I did think to myself they could have been an individual part, but to be perfectly honest with you, I think one may have struggled to get the fineness there. And again, one thing I would love to see is the ability to open the water filling ports. Again, I know it's very difficult, but with some of the work that some of these guys have done, some of these manufacturers have done, placing a small magnet under one of those with a little lifting mechanism would have been great. But again, you've got a good detail around the chimney, top of the chimney stack there. The dome looks right. Obviously the safety valve gear has been picked out incredibly well. So generally, I just can't fault it, to be honest with you. And in regards of obviously its comparison to the Bachmann ones, which I'll go through in a minute, yeah, it's leaps and bounds. But again, it is a lot younger compared to those. In regards DCC, this particular loco can come as a straight DC model, or a DC chip model, or a DCC sound model. Now this one that I've got is the DCC sound version. Access into the area where the chip is very, very simple really. It's just a couple of magnets. However, these are quite strong, so just be careful, because I nearly scratched the surface of the paintwork trying to remove it, purely because they were so strong. Now these tweezers, which I showed you a minute ago, have a second purpose, not only to assist in putting the small details on, but there are a couple of holes here and here which you insert the tweezers and pull the whole section out to gain access to the chip, which again is a very good idea, because sometimes if you haven't got that type of mechanism, generally you could be just shoving tweezers in there and trying to pull and yank bits and pieces, and sometimes because of the delicacy of some of the electronics these days, it's not a great idea, and you do cause damage. So again, you can obviously see that people have thought about this, and again, good idea. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and stick this onto the program track, put in obviously its address, and see what she sounds like. So let's just go through a couple of sounds. So obviously this is the main normal running sound. This is the short horn. This is the long horn, which you have to cancel out. You also have an acknowledgement horn, injectors, there's a coupling sequence, this is the drain cocks, and then what we've got, I'm not going to go through all of them, but this is one I particularly like because we've got the firebox glow as well. So you've got the shoveling sound, but as you can see in there, you've got a, I'll just get the right angle, there's the firebox just in there giving off that. If I turn the light off here as well, that makes it come out a little bit better. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks in the, obviously with all the lights off. Hopefully looking pretty good. Right, let's give it a run. Before we go on to the comparisons with the other Bachmann panniers, I just wanted to give you a bit of a demonstration of the stay alive. Now, bearing in mind we haven't got any actual motion at the moment, this will give you a bit of an indication of how much power there is there. So not a great deal, not in comparison to some of the aftermarket stay alives you get. If I give it a bit of motion, we'll see how much we get there. So let's just give it a bit there. So as I say, not a massive amount, but it should just be enough to get you across those sticky joints or S&C or some just small dead areas. As I say, I've run this now for its half an hour in each way for its breaking in. Absolutely no problems at all. Okay, so let's just have a look at the comparison to the other Bachmann ones. So in effect now here at Kingsclear we've got 3 panniers. This is the first one, this is the pannier, this is the earliest one that I've got, this is the 19 85 tooling, I believe. And now this one didn't even come with a DCC socket. That's how old it is. So I actually had to do an awful lot of work to actually cut an area to get a speaker. And I believe this is the U-Choose one on this one. The next one we've got, now this is actually a little bit more modern, which is the 2015 tooling, again Bachmann. And then obviously we've got the Accurascale one from today, which obviously, let's just say 2024, 25 tooling. So straight away, from a shape perspective, they're all quite comparable. I think the real difference that you'll see is obviously you've got all of that linkage, that underframe detail there, the sandbox fillers, just the fine details, the wiring on the handrails, for example, just looks a lot cleaner, a lot more defined, as you would have expected as time has progressed and obviously technologies have developed. Obviously there's no detail in there whatsoever, and it looks a bit clunky. Granted, this one has been weathered, but in regards like the sandbox details there and the sandbox details there, that's like a bit of a moulded part there. So yeah, I'd say we can't really compare it, and I'm not really comparing it, I'm just giving an indication of the development of how tooling over the years has gone by. But the one thing we can see is that obviously the general shape is pretty good throughout all of it. I know obviously there's going to be people that are going to go out there with micrometers and scale rules and say that it's like a millionth of an inch too small. I'm not really interested in that. And for obviously subscribers and viewers to King's Clear Model Railways, we are talking about a model railway here. It's not the real thing, and I don't get hang up and I don't get any issues if it's slightly incorrect, as long as it's a representation and they've done the best possible that they can with the technology available to the manufacturers, then I'm more than happy. But as I say, that's now run and I've had no problems with it at all. The sound is slightly different, I would say a little bit harsher, but again, does sound like it. Not that I know exactly what it sounds like, because they're all slightly different. All locos were slightly different, but I think it complements the YouTube sound files I've got in the other two. I think they're both YouTube ones. But yeah, really pleased. So yeah, no real issues there. And then what we'll do now is we'll just do a bit of a summary. So in summing up, yeah, really pleased. As I say, I'm not going to give it a rating, not going to give it a score, and I'm not going to be counting the rivets. It looks good. It looks what it says on the tin. I feel the additional detail that has been added to this model does set it apart from obviously the old Bachmann panniers, to which I have here, but not so much that it makes the others two look wrong, if that makes sense. So I'll be quite happy to run the two together and not have to literally choke the others twos away. But as I say, the shape is great. From a price point of view, I think it's about right. I think that obviously when you're looking for a DCC sound locomotive that runs incredibly smoothly, yeah, it's really good. As I say, the packaging excellent, the detail is excellent, finely picked out. Obviously, as I mentioned, I will be changing the nameplate on the number plate there. But yeah, looking forward to obviously running this a lot more. And as I say, what I'm going to do is I'll do the weathering on it, and I'll do another quick video, a part 2, shall we say, to this one in a couple of months' time, and then you can see it in all its glory. So as I say, thank you very much for your time watching this today. Hope you've enjoyed it and taken something away from it. As I say, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. That'll keep you up to date with all of the developments here at King's Clear Models. Apart from that, thank you very much and have a good day.